Rob Parker joining us in the herd.
Good morning.
It is a pleasure.
Good morning.
It was such a bad time for you when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl, but I do feel like you've been reborn now. That LeBron's season's been an utter mess. I after the season ended last year, I went out and I said, I played this for a couple days. I said, why didn't he take a year off? You don't get remarried again and move to Los Angeles. Sample. Go to the beach. Do movies. Do your pizza chain. Clearly, he's had no focus this year. Do you think it's a crazy idea? I think it recharged Michael. Andrew Luck, by the way, now it was an injury. I thought Robbie was a better quarterback. He was more efficient. He didn't make the dumb throws. There is something to be said. You and I can't take the year off because we got bills to pay.
Exactly.
But for a CEO, sells a company, could you argue LeBron would have been better to just recalibrate?
No, I get your point on it, but as you know, I told you a couple of weeks ago that they wouldn't make the playoffs. I just looked at this team, but here's my problem, and yours is compelling from the standpoint of recharge, take a year, get yourself together, and then get ready to take this on. The problem is, I think LeBron James came here with bad intentions, and I'll say it from this standpoint. At least Jim Brown had the decency to retire when he came out to Hollywood to be a movie star.
Yeah.
No, LeBron wanted the NBA money as a player, but he wanted to do all the other stuff. And see, that's why I say he has bad intentions, because this team, LeBron, has more projects, Colin, than the Lakers have wins. Just look at, he's in everything. He's involved. He's on television. You turn the TV on. He's on everything. And people said, oh, well, he has his own free time and he can do all that. The people in Los Angeles and the people spend money for Laker team, they don't want to hear that. I'm sorry, you still have a uniform on. They want you to be a basketball player. They want you to be committed. And LeBron wasn't committed. Colin, this is why he's to blame 100%.
What about Pelinka, Magic, the roster?
I'm not, you know why? LeBron is the worst general manager in the NBA. I've said this over and over. He's the one who brought the veterans, right, who came over.
So you think Rondo, he knew the roster?
Yes, he's the one. Was Magic and Rob Pelinka not going to give him what he wants once they get the best player on the planet? So, yes, these are the guys he wanted. LeBron came to L.A. knowing it's a young core, a young roster that needs time to grow. He didn't embrace that. Right away, halfway point, all right, I need Anthony Davis. I can't win with these guys. And then you look at he never brought in the Luke Walton. So you add up all these things, and then he doesn't, on the court, he doesn't play defense. So you can't ask your teammates to play defense when the leader doesn't play defense, and that's why I have a new name for LeBron.
What's that?
He's now the W.L.O.A.T. W.L.O.A.T.
What's that?
The worst leader of all time.
He had a bad leading year.
No doubt about it.
He had a terrible year of leadership.
Body language, the way, remember he sat away from the team. There's just so many things you can look at this year.
Yesterday, Joy had a piece of video, and it's funny. I listen to radio shows when I leave sometimes, and I just thought the video was funny. But people who I listen to who are connected inside the Laker building were like, Kuzma shoving LeBron. It looked like, dude, we're watching. Let's go. Kyle Kuzma's the second best player on that team. You know, here's what's interesting. That about 2 years ago, a friend of mine who's a woman came up and said she went on a vacation with a guy, and he was on his phone the whole time. And I said, he's not that into you. He's distracted.
Absolutely.
LeBron is showing you he's not that into this Lakers team, these projects. Like Kobe bled L.A. This is my knock on LeBron this year. His body language, his thing. If Joy was doing 7 different projects, I'd be like, well, she likes us, but she's not really totally into the show. To do this show and to do it well, I can't be on 14 projects.
No, and here's the other one. This is why the mural was, 2 murals were defaced before the season even started. They got to feel like LeBron's not real. Is he really here for us? Is he really going to deliver a championship to people? And I think people get a false sense of Laker fans. They think it's only the rich and Hollywood stars and all that. There's a lot of hardworking people who give up their money to go see the Lakers.
Oh,
They're into the Lakers. You know that.
Oh, no. I go Laker Clipper games all the time. That's the misconception.
It is.
Like every Yankee fan's rich.
Right.
Go to a Yankee fan. 90% of Yankee fans are not hedge fund guys.
No.
Goulet's a Yankee fan.
They're working class people.
All fans are.
Yes, who give their money. So I think they felt like LeBron's not really, as you said, not into the Lakers. Is he into Los Angeles? Yes. He wanted to be here. This was the first time in his career. Colin, he always wants the deck stacked for him. He came to the Lakers without having a number 2 player in place.
That's fair.
He came here without really knowing what was going to play out because it wasn't that much about winning a championship in L.A. If he gets it done, fine. I think he also came here because, A, the Hollywood stuff, and B, he was tired of losing in the finals. If you come to L.A. or the Western Conference, you don't have a chance to lose a championship. You could, right? You either beat the Warriors, you won't lose again.
Yeah, nobody holds it against MJ that for years he couldn't get past Boston and Detroit. They hold it against LeBron that he gets to the finals and loses. Nobody holds it against Georgia football. They can't beat Bama and get to the championship. They would get ripped if they'd lost 4 straight championships.
Absolutely. So I think that's another part of it. But it's a total mess.
It is.
And
it's a
LeBron
mess.
has to wear it. I'm serious. I think because if we were here right now and they were the 4th seed in the Western Conference with this team, people would give all the credit to LeBron. So
That's fair.
With it not being where they're out of the playoffs, he should get all the blame. And the other part is, Colin, plain and simple, LeBron came back. He's playing. He's putting up triple-doubles, right? And they're still losing. So you can't just say it was the stretch where he wasn't playing and they went 6-12. They just lost to the Suns, to the Grizzlies, to the Pelicans without Anthony Davis. I mean, look at the teams. They lost to Atlanta. They lost to some of the worst teams in the NBA with LeBron putting up numbers. LeBron has to wear this, and I think fans should not let him off the hook.
All right, let's shift to football. Kyler Murray, I think it's a weak quarterback class. I don't think he compares to Russell Wilson, who I think is one of the most underrated players in NFL history. And now stories yesterday, 2 sources told me they were not untrue, that he was not good at the whiteboard. He was not great in interviews. I saw him on the Dan Patrick Show when I thought that was an embarrassing performance by him. Dan asked legitimate, real questions. I mean, Dan was basically trapped with a guy. What do you make of Kyler Murray in the latest stories?
I mean, there's always going to be stories, in these situations where somebody's looking to be the first overall pick. So I get that. Anybody who decides to make the move, you know what? It's going to be a gamble. I mean, he might be the next it. But it's a gamble. And remember, Josh McDaniels in Denver, when he was the head coach, traded up for Tim Tebow, who was everything in college. Won a national championship, was on the team for 2 national championships, right? Tim Tebow.
Right.
A college legend.
Who a lot of people had doubts about.
He moved up, took Tim Tebow. That and, of course, cheating and recording a team's walkthrough cost Josh McDaniels his job. But that didn't work out. As soon as John Elway could get rid of Tim Tebow, he did. Right. But remember, that's somebody that Josh wanted. So it's a gamble. But without risk, there isn't reward. So he might break the mold and be that guy. But I'm telling you, the people in Arizona, they better be very, very careful because it's a bad franchise and things haven't always worked out for them. And if you're the GM and last year you picked Josh Rosen and now here you are taking another quarterback the next year, you got to question whether or not what was the Josh Rosen pick about. And you got it wrong. I would charge that as getting it wrong.
Great to see you, Rob Parker, the instigator on FS1. Absolute pleasure.
Always a pleasure. On the way to USC, I got class
You're
now.
Teaching your sports commentary class.
No, today I'm in the newsroom with the kids. We put on a live TV show every Wednesday.
And you're the news director.
Yes.
Really?
Sports director.
You know what? Cut the time for weather. Nobody cares about weather.
Cut the weather?
Yeah.
Weather is like the biggest thing on local news.
I know. If I ran local news, there'd be no weather. I would come on and say, go to the Weather Channel right now. We're going to do more sports.
Well, maybe if it was if you're a weatherman in Southern California for the most part, those guys are stealing money.
Until the last month. Until the last month, you're right. Good seeing you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.